Hi, everybody. This is Miss Corey, and I am going to talk about the Persian Empire today. All right, so your job is to watch the Ed puzzle, answer the questions that pop up. If questions don't pop up for you, I found out with a couple of students this past week, it's because of your ad blocker. So make sure your ad blocker is turned off when you watch these Ed puzzles. All right, questions I'll ask you will be in blue text. Follow along with your study guide. Important concepts on your study guide will be in red text. And of course, if you have questions, email me or come to office hours. All right, learning targets is that you guys should be able to identify the geographical range of the Persian Empire, explain characteristics of religion in Persia, and identify major rulers of Persia. Okay, so you're probably like, hold up, Miss Corey, aren't we supposed to be learning about the Greeks? I know, life is hard. No, we're going to actually start off learning about Persia because they really are connected with the Greek history. And when you think of Persia, you might think of the Persian Gulf. You might think of Persian rugs. You might think of the Persian cats, like on the Fancy Feast cans, for all you cat lovers out there. All right, before I get started, I want to say that I am like super excited to teach you about this because some of this information is stuff that I learned in one of my college courses. And seriously, like imagine 20 sitting in like a giant lecture hall and my mind is just like getting blown with information. It's fantastic. All right, start off slow, but it'll pick up and get better as we go on. All right, so just some basics about the Persian Empire. It's also called the Achaemenid Achaemenid oh god, I said that terribly. Empire. Yeah, don't quote me on that one. All right, so it is from 559 to 334 BCE. There are some quite famous rulers such as Cyrus the Great, Darius the First, also Xerxes the First. We'll talk about him a little bit later. It ended in 334 BC when this dude named Alexander the Great conquered Persia. We will talk about Alexander the Great um, the last week of October. Yeah, we'll talk about him in a whole different lesson. All right, so here is a map of the Persian Empire at about 480 BCE at its height. So you can see that at its height, it is going all the way to where modern day India would be. And then it goes all the way over here to the border of Greece, okay? It includes all of Anatolia. And then look at this. That's right, the Persians took over Egypt too. Pretty crazy. So this empire was gigantic. And the main place of the empire where it first started is in this dark blue here. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. All right, so Persian Empire. It was the original homeland is in what modern day Iran is. It is super rich in some minerals such as copper, tin, iron, gold, and silver. Like I said before, you saw that massive land that it covered. So the reason for that is because Persia conquered some massive empires, such as the Babylonian Empire, the Assyrian Empire, and the Egyptian Empire. So three huge empires all of a sudden fall, and they're under control of the Persian Empire. All right, so the Persian Empire. I remember when I was learning about it, I was like, Persians, they're so evil. And in textbooks and people with surface level knowledge of Persia, think of the Persian Empire as evil. And I was one of those back then. Okay? Why do you think some people may think that about the Persian Empire? All right. Here's the reason. It's all about the resources, where this information is coming from the Persian Empire. So a lot of the information about the Persian Empire does not come from the Persian Empire itself. It is coming from the Greeks. Okay? So Persia wanted to take over a lot of Greek land, and Greeks were like, oh, heck no. And so they kind of talk smack about Persia. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Here's a boar base. It's cool. All right, so the first dude I want to talk about, his name is Cyrus the Great. He ruled from 559 to 530. Oh, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but when you have like a little R in front of a date, that means ruled. Okay. So he organized the Persian Empire into three social classes. Okay, there was the warrior class, which included aristocrats and royalty, because they like led the armies. There's the priests, who are of course the religious leaders, and they performed lots of animal sacrifices. And then the peasants, so the villagers, the farmers, the shepherds. Um, so the interesting thing about Cyrus the Great was once he conquered a new land, especially if that land, like Egypt, had a different religion than he did, he like totally respected that religion. He's like, yeah, keep on practicing the religion, and also traditions as well. All right, Darius the First. So he ruled from 522 to 486. He conquered land as far as modern day India. Okay, so he's going like way east. And he also conquered as far as what is today Austria and Germany. Okay, so he's even getting to parts of Europe now. He's famous because he expanded the Persian navy. He also built this canal connecting the Red Sea and the Nile, which here's a map of it right here. So this red thing called the Canal of the Pharaohs. So it is a canal that ships could like sail from the Nile River all the way to the Red Sea. Okay, so that was like awesome for trading and the economy. Today it is closed, like it's just like a giant like ditch. So there's no running water through it anymore. All right, Xerxes. We're going to talk about him later, but here's a little background about him. So he ruled from 486 to 465. Um, there's like at least three streets around in the Minneapolis area that are named Xerxes, and yeah, that's like named after that dude, and I don't know why. I mean, it's like a super cool name. Whatever. But he was also respected and made buildings in honor of Assyrian kings. So the empire that his forefathers conquered, he was like, yeah, let's honor these like super awesome Assyrian kings that we totally beat down and took over. Um, and we'll talk about him in the Battle of Thermopylae later, because that's the coolest battle of all. All right. There's this awesome like archaeological art thing. It's called the Stairway at Persepolis. So what it is that there's this huge, massive building called the Apadana. Apadana. There we go. Um, which was built by Darius the First and Xerxes. So think of like this giant, grand, like event center. Okay, so it had rich people's weddings, it had coronation, it had funerals, it had New Year's festivals. I mean, this was like the coolest event center ever. And every inch of the building inside and out were covered with reliefs, which are like kind of like those shallow etchings on the walls that like, like pictures. All right, so here's my next question. What do you notice about the reliefs in the pictures? What are these people doing and what are they carrying? Okay, so all the people who are in this picture, okay, so that is on kind of like a side of a stairwell or a staircase. Okay, it's like the railing of a staircase had all these people etched into it. And they weren't random people. These were actually like real people, okay, that were etched in there. So each one is unique because it's based off of a real person. And these people are ambassadors to other nations. They could be nobles, they could be members of the court. A lot of them are carrying animals to be sacrificed or gifts for the Persian rulers. All right, yes, here we go. Next up, we get to talk about Zoroastrianism. I think I said that right. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so happy. So that is a religion that the Persian rulers all practiced. Again, they did not force this religion upon any like land that they conquered, but this was their religion. All right, so Zoroastrianism is an ancient religion. Why do people care about studying it? So let me ask you, why are ancient religions important to study? All right, so I'm going to tell you a little bit why. So this religion is actually still around today. About 100,000 people in Iran and India are Zoroastrianists. Um, Here's also a picture here. This is from Illinois, so there's even a temple in Illinois. And then here's some of the worshippers. It is the first long-term monotheistic religion, and it was created about 1700 BCE. There's kind of some debate of exactly when it came about, but that's what the textbook I'm going off of says. So we'll just stick with it. All right, so a little bit about this religion. So there is one God, like I said, is monotheistic. His name is Ahura Mazda. Okay, so he believes humanity is in a constant struggle of good. So that would be God, right? God is the good one, and evil, which would be the devil. Individuals are rewarded or punished for good slash bad behaviors in the afterlife, used as a justification to conquer new territories. That's what the Persian um, rulers did. They're like, hey, like this country is like bad. We should go conquer them and rule them under our just religious ideals. Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, here's another modern day picture of some ladies who are part of that religion. All right. So another really cool aspect about them is that Zoroastrians are really environmentally conscious. So human excretion, like poo and pee, couldn't contaminate bodies of water. Okay, so like, nope, you cannot pee in the swimming pool. Okay. Also, fire was worshipped at altars. That's like their really big main like symbol is fire. And here's an example of one of their fire altars. Dead were either buried or eaten by wild animals. They believed that fire was too sacred to cremate bodies. Um, Also, that rotting dead bodies were too unhealthy for the top of the earth just to like rot away, so they had to be buried. Or animals came along and ate them. Like, why not? That's great. All right, so more about Zoroastrianism. So, they believed in one god and a devil with demon followers. They believe in a heaven and hell. They believe in a messiah. So, a messiah is like a savior to a group of religious people. They believe that the end of time will come once the messiah comes again. They believe in 6 days of creation and 1 day of rest. They also believe in the covenant, which is like a religious promise made with God and a mortal human. So you're probably looking here like, oh, look at this cool picture. So this dude, so this is the prophet. His name is Zoroaster. Okay, so he has like a halo, and he has a cane, and he has a beard, and he has white clothes. Yeah, huh, cool. All right. So a little bit more about Zoroastrianism. Okay, so their one of their big holidays is on the winter solstice, which is December 21st. What they do is that they decorate their houses in the color red. Yes, this is all the way back from like ancient times, since the Persian times, okay? Another really awesome, unique thing that they do is they cut down pine trees and they put them into houses. And then they decorate them mostly with red things. And then they leave gifts under the tree. They also gather with family and friends to share gifts and food. Okay. Huh. Here is the Yalda tree. Um, that's what they call their decorated tree. And also, when Zoroastrianism was still like a young religion and was kind of mixed with some of the other local polytheistic religions, a lot of people worship the Assyrian god Mithra, who was born on December 25th. Gosh. So, is this like sounding familiar to you at all? Or am I crazy? No, this is what like blew my mind. All right, so we are not crazy. So historians do actually relate Zoroastrianism to Abrahamic religion. So that's the Jewish, Christian, and Islam religions. So Zoroastrianism again was created about 1700 BCE. Again, there's a little debate, but again, it was really popularized in the Persian Empire about in the 500s BCE. And the Torah, like we learned this past week in Unit 2, right? That's the Jewish religion text, and that was written about 450 BCE. Okay, but roots to the Jewish religion may go back as far as 2000 BCE. So it's kind of like, hmm, there's definitely some influence going on between these two sectors of religions. So we're not crazy. There are similarities. All right. Sweet. All right. So we're done with that. Next up, you got some Greece stuff to do. It's going to be about a geography of Greece. It is not my own video. I just took it off Edpuzzle. If you have questions about anything I talked about today, just email me or come to my office hours. Yay. All right. Have a good day. Bye, everybody.